Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Basham, Yahweh Shai, Basham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, the elder apostles in Connecticut, to the bishops, the priests, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This is your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. Yeah, as you can see right here, this is a Daily Mail news, right? And it says 46 U.S. laboratories in Ukraine. So, but it's in Ukraine. So how in the world is it a U.S. laboratory? Ask yourself that, right? It doesn't make sense because see, when you read it, they're gonna try to cover up what had been said because Putin had found these laboratories, right? Which for bioweapons, right? Which what the WHO is going to be pushing real soon, right? And see now here's their way to twist it, right? And the $200 Pentagon program that sparked a propaganda war. Yes, it's a propaganda, right? Propaganda. It says information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So the whole thing about that is it can go both ways. See, when you control the news and you own all the news, a lot of the news places, except for some of these small news places when they push their news out. So when people are trying to get their information, you could spin the narrative, right? So they're saying it was a $200 propaganda, like I don't, as if that makes any sense, right? So they're saying someone spent $200. So how do you know that? So if you know it was $200, how are those people not arrested? You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense. You know? I mean, that's all you do is you just that's it. How are you not arrested? Or if you can't arrest them, how are you not trying to at least sue them? And if you're not trying to sue them, how are you not at least putting it more readily available, this type of information saying, hey, look, this thing came from over here. You know what I mean? And they have these false narratives or whatever. Yeah. So if they're having this propaganda war, who are they having this war with? Right? This is big old propaganda, right? This is how ex-Soviet facilities adopted by America. When did America adopt? When did America adopt these Soviet facilities? Huh? I mean, they're not asking. They didn't even answering those things. So when did you adopt 46 of them? One or two. You don't got facilities in America. You don't got facilities somewhere else. You have 46 facilities just chilling in Ukraine somewhere, and only because of the war, Russia comes in and basically pushes back your military, and the Putin's troops discover this stuff, and they're just being soldiers. So there's no reason for them to lie. They're just reporting what they found and reporting it back to Putin. So Putin is just relaying everything that his soldiers have found, right? But they want to tell you it's just this propaganda war. It's made up. Don't believe it. Just hey, we adopted them at one point in time, and it's no big deal, right? That the house pathogens prompted. I don't know how to say that word. Kremlin, right? Okay, yeah. Kremlin bioweapons, right? So these are meant to be bioweapons. Bio meaning body, and a weapon, of course, a weapon is meant to kill, right? That's why it says Esau. David says, "Deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword." Right, and hey, and that's this guy, man. He will find all sorts of things to become weapons, man. Claims claims in Putin's backyard, right? Because that's what happened. They came in, basically pushed him back, took over that area, and this is what Putin's military is reporting to him, that there were 46 U.S. Laboratories there, and they were meant for bioweapons. But they want to tell you, oh no, this is just all propaganda. This is all BS, right? Yeah. So right here it tells you, it says, Pentagon provides funds to research across 46 Ukraine labs as part of a program meant to dismantle weapons of mass destruction. So wait a minute. Earlier, when you look up here, it said that they adopted them. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you adopt them, or were you there to dismantle them? Which one is it? See how even into this thing you'll put your foot in your own mouth, right? It doesn't make sense. Things, it don't add up. When you really pay attention, these are just information that Putin got from his militaries from being out there, and he's reporting to it saying, "Look, your government ain't all squeaky clean. Why they keep trying to make me an evil looking bad guy? Look what they're doing. They're making little bio weapons against their own citizens, and then give you some propaganda war and give you some BS like they were all meant to dismantle them, right?" Yeah, it says the funds through biological threat reduction. See, that's what they're telling you, right? Program are meant to study pathogens and prevent outbreaks. This is the scenario that they want to convince you that that's what they're doing. They're just doing such good deeds, right? There's laboratories here in America. Why would you need to go over there and have 46? Would one or two be good enough? You mean 46, all for you to because you want to prevent pathogens, right? Right? As if that makes sense, right? And then you told us all these lies of how you didn't have any connection with the Wuhan over in China. You said you didn't have no connections to that. Come to find out, it was all sorts of connections to that, right? Now you're pre what is it? You're pre-pardoning someone because he just didn't do no wrong. Something's not right when you're already trying to pardon someone who's not even up for any major thing, but you already said he already has a pardon. Yeah, something's fishy going on, right? Um, yeah, it says Russia has repeatedly referenced the research as part of what the administration is what the administration calls a disinformation campaign. But why would they have to do that? Remember, remember, Russia was controlling the elections. Russia's controlling this, and Russia's doing that, and Russia's doing everything is Russia. Nothing's ever you, right? That is freaking strange. And if Russia has that much power, you're in trouble, right? You're in freaking trouble. Just like if you're saying these so-called drones and all these other things are a part of some other country and this and that and all these other things, and or it's aliens or whatever you want. Either way, you're in trouble because obviously these things are out of your control. So you pushing this to me doesn't ensure confidence, right? Not to me. You're showing you don't have no control. You have no power. You mean Russia just controlling everything, bro? See right here, it says there was a spark in in online commentary on the labs who would know about those? Who would know anything about those laboratories for there to be a spark online? There was a spark online in an online commentary on the labs just before and after Russia invaded Ukraine. So who would know anything about that? Russia didn't even know anything about that until they invaded and conquered and took over that part. And that's the information that he's giving because he's took over that area, not before or even after. It was just only after he took over that area that he found these findings and he's reporting it. But they, hey, nah, it's just propaganda. It's just BS. Yeah, Russia's saying that, and yeah, they're saying it's in Putin's backyard, and he's just, I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's nothing. Just look over this, right? It says the World Health Organization said, right? This is the kicker right here. When you read this, it says the World Health Organization said it had advised Ukraine to destroy high threat pathogens housed in the country's public health laboratories. So wait a minute. So could that have been the spark that was online? I don't know, because it sounded like they was warned, hey, look, destroy that. Russia's coming to destroy it. That's what it sounded like to me. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because the truth is better than a lie, but if you could kind of twist it, you could kind of tell the truth, but it can still be spun off as basically like a lie. Oh, hey, we're here to help all you people. We care about you. As if there need to be a World Health Organization. There's never been a need for a World Health Organization. That doesn't make sense. Ever. Right? That in itself. But, just point that out.
So Russia is trying to alert the world that the U.S. has funded biolabs in Ukraine and that those labs were conducting AIDS research on Ukrainian military personnel. That is perhaps the craziest sentence I'm going to utter this week. Let me say that again. Ukraine was using biolabs, and they were using those biolabs conducting AIDS research on Ukrainian soldiers. Yes, taking Ukrainian soldiers and testing AIDS research on them. Of course, you'll recall the U.S. denied that there were any biolabs in Ukraine. The Department of Defense even called it Russian propaganda at the time and laughed in a reporter's face for even asking this question, you smug son of a bitch. This is exactly what John Kirby did when a reporter had the gall to ask about these biolabs that are listed on the State Department's website. But it's all Russian propaganda, he said. Watch.
And on this issue of military biological labs in Ukraine that the Russians keep raising, can you basically explain to us what type of relationship, if any, there was between the Pentagon and the Ukrainian side on any biological labs? When was the last cooperation, and what do you have to say about these Russian accusations?
The Russian accusations are absurd. They're laughable. And in the words of my Irish Catholic grandfather, a bunch of malarkey. There's nothing to it. It's classic Russian propaganda, and I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't give it a drop of ink worth paying attention to.
Yeah, but can you explain to us has there been any relationship between the?
We are not developing biological or chemical weapons inside Ukraine. It's not happening. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Go ahead.
Don't even print any stories about it. Don't don't even print any stories about it. Don't waste any ink on it at all. It's just total malarkey. Well, we know that was a lie. And we now know, of course, the biolabs, thanks to Victoria Nuland, came out in congressional testimony from the State Department, admitted this to Congress. She had to, because it was on the State Department's website. It was on the State Department and embassy websites that there's biolabs. We knew that it was out there. We knew that you can't hide this stuff. But they tried to. But Victoria Nuland came out and admitted it. Watch.
I only have a minute left. Let me ask you, does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has biological research facilities which in fact we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian.
Right, kind of sounds something like what the WHO said, that they wanted them to what? Destroy the threat, like the so-called threatened bios, right?
Propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
Last question. I am certain that the Russians.
Sorry, my Steam Deck's not working. Anyway, just let me feed you the question.
Here's the softball. Yeah.
Right.
Toss it. I'm going to toss it in real slow for you here. Here it comes. Here's the softball. Ready? There you go. Hit it.
And she laughs. She's even laughing. She's like, "Thank you, Senator, for that very easy question." It wouldn't even cross my mind. Of course, it would be Russian propaganda. People with a low IQ, that's how they speak. People who don't understand what's going on, they'll just blame anything on Russian propaganda. That's all they do. It's the easiest way out because then it shuts down conversation. Intelligent people don't talk like that. So her worry when the war.
Yeah. So of course, as you can see, they're talking about they don't have these labs, but then yet they proved it came out and said that they do. Right, and they wanted to spin off the things about propaganda and all this other madness, right? And as we can see right here, this today, this MSN today, it says a silent, CV surge may hit the U.S. in early 2025. So why are they saying it may hit? How do you even know this? I mean, it's crazy that you know so much about some stuff that what I mean. How can you know that it may hit? If you're not controlling this, or if you're not doing anything, or you don't have all these things, and you're not doing bioweapons, and then really you were looking out for the well-being of the people, right? But you can say that, hey, it may hit early 2025, right? Experts warn. Here's what that means, right? It says with the New Year celebration around the corner, which we already had that. We already in the New Year now. The U.S. is poised, right? So basically saying that, hey, it's guaranteed. Or whatever. It's it's fit for it. It's just got to happen, right? It's poised to see a current, CV wave, the 10th since the pandemic started, to continue to grow rates of the, the CV, basically the CV19 has already been increasing in much of the country, right? So if you hit this, it's trying to get you to buy it, pay for this, but yeah, I was trying to see if it could show me something else, but yeah, that's pretty much it right there. So yeah, so they already know it's guaranteed. It's poised to happen. It's definitely gonna happen, right? Yeah. So this is Second Ezra chapter 16, right? Because last year was the hopeful year of Yaquab's trouble, which basically that's what I believe. We're there now, because not only is Esau ramping everything up, the Most High himself is ramping everything up right? And it's about that time. So I don't know what Apostle Hart going to coin this year, but it's looking like that you know that time. So it's 2nd Ezra 16:37. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. The plagues, right? Whether it be man-made sickness, right? Famine, death, pestilence, whatever it is, you know, um, you know, it's coming. It's drawing nigh. Things are increasing, right? The plagues, right? Be you know, martial law, famine, the charagma, right? These are all plagues, man. Right? The ICBM missiles, ultimately, right? Those are the things that's drawing nigh, right? So it's all starting to increase, draw nigh, and are not slacked, right? So now we're coming to the time where, hey, it ain't gonna be like prolonged, right? It says, as a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of the birth of her birth, Slakia, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So then with the birth pains and increase, and it's basically I forgot the word, but it opens up the woman's I forgot the name of, but basically it calls her to dilate, right? Opens up to push out the baby. And that's the type of trouble that we're coming into, time to trouble that we're getting into. It's gonna be so much trouble, Yaiquab's trouble, that ain't gonna be mistaking what's happening, right? Yeah, this is Ezekiel 12:22. Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? You're basically saying that you know it's already happened or whatever. You've been said the end of the world, or people have always quote the end of the world, and you know the 2000, the Lord was supposed to come in 2000, which he did in a sense, because since early 2000 there's been more young men raised up in the truth and in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai than ever before. So in a sense, the Lord did come, whether you know it or not, whether you understand it or not, right? But that's one of the things they want to play it off and downplay the truth or the validity of what's actually going on. Tell you the Esau is the devil, the self-proclaimed so-called, and then all these atrocities are starting to show. You know, these little grape islands and all these other things, but then they want to flip it and show you, Jake too. You know, they're more putting the spin on Jake, and then so you whether Jake's, you get more hung up on your own people than the overall who controls all this stuff, and that's more what we try to point out. Yeah, there are some wicked of our people, which they're going to get judged, of course, but who's controlling the whole thing? I mean, that's I mean, like they tell you, go. You want to know what's really going on? Follow the money, and you know it's not going to Jake. You in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservation. So it's definitely not you. You're not the wicked. You do some wickedness, but you're not the wicked. You're not the control of all that. You know what I mean? Tell them, therefore, thus saith the outer one, power, the Most High Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakal, I will make this proverb to cease, right? Because you're saying, hey, look, we've heard that before, the end of the world, and blah, 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 blah. My grandmother said it, her grandmother said, man, the end of the world is up. People always say that ain't nothing going to change. Everything's going to always be the same, right? But we could see what's happening, and it says because that's basically showing that the Lord said these plagues are not going to slack, man, and that's what's ultimately what I'm saying. What's really what the Lord is saying, should I say? It says I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel amongst you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, by saying unto them, the days are at hand, and the effects of every vision, right? So, and now you're gonna see that the plagues are not gonna slack. The days are at hand, and you can see it is at hand, and the effects of every vision, every word that the Lord has said, it's all coming to pass. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. Yeah, and Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, right? And the scriptures tell you that what blesses he that readeth, right? But you got to do more than reading. You have to be able to you have to understand he with all I get and get understanding, right? You have to be able to discern the spirit and what the spirit is saying and what the scripture is saying. You know, you got milk scriptures and dark sayings, you know, and things of that nature. And basically the Lord needs to be dealing with you, you know. So for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And see, and that's the time that we're coming into, man. That the Lord is saying, look, y'all been saying, oh, the end of the world. You've been saying, but this is just being forewarning you, right? To not take grace for granted, right? You know, so hey, and it shall speak and not lie, right? Because you think this is just all made up. Oh no, you guys said the Lord was going to return in 2000. You said he was going to return 2000. Ah ha ha, God. You guys ain't that make you a false prophet? No, don't make you a false prophet. He was hastening a day, unlike you, and none of them. Well, the true men didn't stop teaching. They didn't let that deter them. You know what I mean? They could have hanged their head low, and then been like, oh well, that means whatever, and just never taught ever again. I mean, I ain't gonna never teach no more because it didn't happen. Well, regardless, the Lord would have raised up some other men, and you'll be where you at right now, regardless, because this is that time. The Lord is gonna start making the effects come to pass, and for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. That's effective times. Effects are gonna make it an effects. Right, and she'll speak and not lie. And though it tarry, yeah, it seemed like, oh, back in 2000, and you do all this. It tarried. It seemed like, oh, that was so long ago. You're talking 20 something years ago, and it still ain't happened. You're talking 20 years before that. And my grandmama said it back in the 80s, and her grandmama back in the fucking 70s and the 60s and whatever. And you can go back and all the way time of in the Bible when they were saying it was the end of the world, man. Man, everything is still. It's no big deal, right? Right? Though it tarry, wait for it, right? And that's what the true men of the Lord is doing, patiently waiting for it. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, right? And that's ultimately what the Lord is saying. It will not tarry. Yeah, it will not tarry. Let's go back right here real quick, because it says 2 Ezra 16 and 38. It says when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, which with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, the pangs come about, right? So there's troubles, man. That's what you're gonna have. Yaiquab's trouble, the pains that, they got this another CV19, and it's secretly coming in, and it's growing this massive growth that somehow things can massively go around you and you don't notice one thing, right? It's just growing exponentially. You can't see nothing, you don't know nothing. Right. I mean, just like when they were saying before, they were saying all these hospitals were packed up, and then you drive by the hospital and there were empty parking spots. And there wasn't a bunch of people out there doing whatever. There was none of that stuff that they were talking about. But we're gonna come into a time that, hey, things are actually it's gonna actually happen, man. On a higher scale, right? There's gonna be total lockdowns and things like that. So it says, pregnant to come about her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, slack not a moment. Right? Slack not a moment. So even so shall not the plagues, right? All these different so-called, I guess sicknesses, right? And basically perils, different things, shootings, mass, whatever, real or fake, right? They're not going to stop. They're not going to not be there. It's going to continue. It's going to get ramped up. It's going to go to a whole nother level. Even so shall not the plagues be slacked to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Hey, man, and that's the thing that's coming, man, on every side. Matter of fact, so you see, it's gonna come fast, man. It's gonna be on every side. It says, "Oh, my people, right? Hear my word. Make ye ready to thy battle, and in those evils," right? It means evil, meaning a bad time or evil time, bad time, right? And that's where we're coming into a evil time. Be even as pilgrims upon the earth, right? So it may not be you have your house or your place that you're living for long. You're gonna have to understand and pay attention to what's going on and what do they call it, the climate, so to speak, and know when it's time for you. You might have to just grab it and just take off, leave, be somewhere else, off the grid, do what you got to do. Hey, man, it may come to that time, but the Lord's gonna let you know. But you're gonna see definitely things going completely left, so to speak, and it ain't gonna be sustainable for you to be a man or a woman of the Lord and trying to be under those type of conditions when the world is it's in its folly, and all these different things are going on. It's going to be contingent to you to follow the ways of the world, contingent to you to have to get the charagma, the Karax, Grapho, in order to survive, right? The MOTB, right? In order for you to live, right? The MOTB, in order for you to so-called not get sick, or so they can detect your sickness, right? Right, so this is Ezekiel 12:16. But I will leave a few men from the sword, right? So some of us ain't gonna die, right? The Lord already said that to the apostles, which became the disciples, which became apostles, and said, some of you standing here shall not taste death. So some people are not gonna die, right? Those who are in with the spirit of Yahushua is in them, which Yahushua is in the Lord. So therefore, we're going to be kept. We're going to be in the Lord's hand, and the Lord's going to place us in Yahweh's hand, and no one can take us from Yahweh's hand, man. Right? So some of us are not going to taste death, right? says that some of them from the sword, from the famine. See, the Lord says some of us are going to eat. You know, the men of the Lord are going to eat. So some of us are not going to die from the famine, right? And from the pestilence, right? There's going to be these, you know, these viruses, these viruses that's going to be going around and so-called killing people, right? And some of us are not going to die of that. You know what I mean? Right? You may catch it or you may do this, but the Lord said you should have poisons and not die. Right? The Lord's going to have certain ways for you to get out, to escape, that they may desire, that they may declare, all their abominations among the heathen. So therefore, what are we doing? We're saying, hey, look, we know that our righteousness is filthy rags, but we're on the highways and the byways bringing forth what? Our sacrifice, right? This place is an abomination. The whole letter J is an abomination. The cross is idol. We deal with the Lord's real name is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, the Father, the Most High, is Yahweh, right? This Christianity is an abomination, putting off all the nonsense, the madness of this world. You know, Buddha, Allah, right? Which not many people come out of Allah, right? A lot of them dudes they're super wrapped up into that. But, you know, coming out of the world, you know, drug dealing, pimping, doing whatever, homosexuality, lesbianism, people come back to this truth and putting off the ways of the abominations of the world, right? Whether they come and they shall know that I am Yahweh, right? And the truth has been spoken, and we know that Yahweh did this to us. He put it, the transatlantic slave trade was really ultimately a device of Yahweh, man, because of our disobedience, worshiping other gods and idols and different things. We know that was really the Most High. And so we come to the realization, hey, we know we messed up, and we know we need a power, because what? These dudes got gain of function things that can gain a function from animal to human. And they, you know what I'm saying? You got drones, you got machine guns, you got all these different. We don't have any of those different things. All we have is the Bible, and that is it. You know, a little handgun or something, whatever that we got, some little thing is nothing, right? You know, and that's if you even got that, because some brothers don't even get down with that at all, right? So, you know, to try to just deem us as something, right? Which that's why the Lord deemed you the devil, because devil means false accuser, and that's what you do. So, you know, but it says, what was that? Yeah, because whether they come and they shall know that I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Moreover, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai came to me, saying, Son of man, eat thy bread. And quaking, right? Hey, fear and trembling, man. Hey, man, the Lord said, my servants shall eat, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be eating with quaking, man, with trembling. You know, you're gonna be thanking the Lord, you know, because the Lord might have you go another 2 days, 3 days, and it may look like, damn, you don't know where your next meal is coming, but that's ultimately like another test. See where your faith is going to be at. Can the Lord provide for you again? Are you going to be like how you were in it? Can the Lord provide us a table? Can he provide us meat in the wilderness? So you're going to get into that spirit? See? And this is ultimately going to be the hour of temptation, man. The ultimate hour to see if you're really about what you say you're about. And drink thy water and trembling and with carefulness, man. See, hey, we can't be like the way the people of this world, man. They're eating and drinking, marrying and giving back into marriage, right? Hey, Lord, give us our daily bread, man, and we're good. That's how we're supposed to look at this. Every day we're supposed to grow, because, man, I'm trying to understand and get myself into just only caring about the necessities, man. Freak all of the greater and all this, you know, the riches and this, and life could have been, you know what I mean? Bro, this place is done. America's done, right? Yeah, so this is Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 14. Woe, of course, woe meaning with judgment, destruction, weeping and gnashing of teeth. Ultimately, when the ICBM missiles hit America, right, turn this into the lake of fire, man. It's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth with that lake of that, those missiles that turn this place into a lake of fire. Well, before then, you're going to have what? The woe to the world and them that dwell therein for the sword. So you're going to have the sword happen before that. The sword and destruction draweth nigh, man. Right? Whether it's some type of pestilence, some type of virus, right? Right? The CV-19, right? You got, of course, like I said, you still got the charagma that ultimately has to be on the scene, right? On a heavy level, right? So you have the charagma, so that's destruction, right? The race wars, right? And then wait, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. See, going into, like you said, race wars, going into class wars, going into, whatever someone can think about fighting about, because that's what they're doing now. Your hair's brown and mine's whatever. Your eyes is this color, and I'm gonna fight you over this. You're from this side of the neighborhood, I'm fighting you over. So imagine when things are even more scarce, when you're talking scarcity of food, scarcity of everything. People are being scared because there's all these different, diseases are happening. People are afraid. So one people shall stand up and fight against another. And swords in their hand, the modern day sword is the gun, right? And then after that, after they run out of bullets, whatever else they could put their hands on in their hand, for there shall be sedition amongst men. See, and that's what the Lord is ultimately saying. This is that time that the vision is. It's not gonna slack a moment. You're saying a bunch of things, and the Lord said, I'm not gonna hold that back anymore. I'm gonna just go ahead and let things happen, right? You're not gonna be able to just put it all off, and this is looking like that time. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, right? Or the so-called president, or was it governor or mayor, whatever, chief of police, whatever. Things are really gonna go down, governor or princess, right? Going into like your regular mayor, your city councilman, your little, small guys are supposed to be over you, all the way to the king, president, whatever, prime minister, because this thing is going to hit the whole world, right? So and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power, man, and that's ultimately the elite. The elite has they know the exact time they're going to let all this thing happen. And as soon as they pull the rug off from under this so-called dollar, a lot of things are going to happen, because they're going to do that chaos, order out of chaos, right? And when order out of chaos says, and man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? See, going into that martial law. Once the chaos happens, the government is able to come in and then get control out of the chaos. Because people are dropping dead. Oh, these different V words, whatever, the CV-19 is getting people. We're all, please help us. You know what I mean? And people are, you know what I'm saying? With all the killing, the different race wars and all these things. Hey, them coming in as the hero, right? With the martial law, and no man, and a man should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And them coming in with that martial law, right? Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 31. It says, even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, right? The gun, the modern day. Sword is the gun, right? And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through, right? Going into, like that martial law, right? Going into these race wars and different things, and the famine, right? Because men are going to be going through people's houses looking for, food. Even the military, basically, because they just passed that law, because I guess it used to be law that the military, it was, was able to go into whatever, if they go fighting or whatever, they can go to a village or whatever, they can go in through the people's thing and take whatever valuables or whatever food for the military. So they passed that law saying that they could do that again, right? And that's really to affect the American citizen, because hey, it's going to be, once they come in with the martial law and you got food and the military soldier don't have food, well, your food automatically becomes their food, and they don't care if you eat or not. It's all about those soldiers, right? So they come in, and part of that coming in, before they can get full control, right? A lot of chaotic things are going to happen before that time, right? So that's just that. Yeah, so let me continue. Yeah, because basically, yeah, like a man should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And then it says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, right? This time of Jacob's trouble. And it says the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See, it's going to be a terrible time that even men are going to be afraid. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And the modern day sword is the gun. And shall and spoil their goods, right? Whatever you have, water, milk, eggs, beans, can of beans. I mean, hey man, it might just be a can of fruit, right? They just you don't got nothing else left but a can of fruit. Be like the lady who just had what she said. All she had was a little oil left and some cornmeal, enough to make some bread, and she said she was going to eat the bread and then die after that, right? You may not even get a chance to do that, because they didn't set it up to where the military can come in and just snatch what you have, because they can. Or you might have to fight someone else off, because this is the time that you're going to be living in, right? It says that, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, right? And for great tribulations. And hey, all these, CV-19 type situations going on, and different type of little plagues and this and that and race wars. And hey, the Lord said, hey, look, all the things I said, hey, I'm just gonna start letting it happen. This is looking like the time that it's gonna start happening, right? Yeah. So this is Matthew 24 and 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be what? Famines, right? People gonna have food, and pestilence, and all these different, viruses, all them other type of things, CV-19 type situations, right? And earthquakes in diverse places. So it's gonna be a lot of chaotic type of things, and it's gonna start increasing, man. It's gonna be like a woman giving forth, bringing forth her child. There's only just a little bit of time left. All right. And it comes quick. I was there when my daughter gave birth to her first daughter. And it actually came pretty quick. She was like, oh, I'm feeling pains. And nah, you need to take, no, I'm all right. And then, actually, no, we were taking her to the hospital. Boom. To the end, boom. Boom. She had the baby. Like, yeah. It seemed like it was a ways off. But then it was way closer than we thought, It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows, man. So all these things are just really just the beginning of evil time, right? You know what I'm saying? Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, right? Yeah, see, that's another thing that's going to be happening too. Be afflicted, and shall be killed, and and shall kill you. Right? The Lord looking at you saying, look, and they're gonna kill you. You gonna be killed. So you have to take this knowledge, understand it, and realize this is heavy, man. It's a real thing, man. All for what you believe in. All for because you believe in something. Because they would tell you words don't hurt, but obviously these are just words, right? So if we're out there on the highways and the byways and we're just reading, and it's just the Bible and these are just words, why do they want to kill you for it? Right? But it shows you, man, words are power, man. That's why we ain't looking to have guns and all that other stuff. Hey, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is power. I say these words and you want to kill me and shall and deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And what is his name? Yahweh Shai, Yahweh the Father, Yahweh Shai is the Son. It ain't none of that other madness that they tell you, right? Nobody's hating you for JC, right? Nobody's hating you for that. Come on now. Oh yeah, might as well. It says, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And this is the time that we're coming in, right? Yeah, right here. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 59. So then Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and a long continuance and sore sickness of long continuance. There, moreover, I will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thus was afraid of, and with they shall cleave to thee. So that's the time you're about to be living in real soon, right? Because Deuteronomy 28, hey, that's not all the way done away with, man. So, right? So keep on going to 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written, so CV19 is not written in, under the Egypt. It's a totally different thing, especially when they're talking about making things gain a function from an animal to a human. And we don't know how that's. We got 46 laboratories, and we really meant that only for the good of mankind. But we're saying that this happened, but this, and we don't know. We don't know what they're talking about. Let's just hey. But then the facts come out that you were the ones who owned these things, and you were doing some other things beyond what you're saying. But the world is still going on like none of that information came out. It's crazy. But the Lord said, hey, even the things that are not written in the book of the law, them will Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, bring upon thee until thus be destroyed, man. So, and there's a lot of Jake still ain't cleaving to the truth, So guess what's going to cleave to you then? Something that diseases and things like that. Things that is not even written in the book. And there's no such thing as HIV in the book, right? Right? There's no, what's that? AIDS and all these different things that's out there. That's going to be cleaving to, man. That's not in the book. So Zika viruses and whatever other kind of madness is out there that they either create it or they're getting it to be more contagious or whatever they're doing in these 46 labs that they don't know nothing about, or they were there to destroy. Well, then how come you didn't destroy them before Russia took them over? It doesn't make sense if you were there to destroy them. But then when they get there, they find all these different you know, plagues in them. Should I say? I just say plagues. They find all these different plagues in it. You know, but your thing was to destroy it. But you know, hey, so you know, yeah. So I'm just gonna finish it up right here with this. It's, Ezekiel 12:24. For there shall be no more any false or vain visions. There should be no more any vain vision, nor flattering divination, wherewith the house of Israel, right? You so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are going to be scoffing. You're not going to be doing any scoffing anymore, right? And I am Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash, will speak, and the words that I speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in those days, O rebellious house, right? You so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. You're a rebellious house, man. I will say the word and will perform it, saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Again, the word of Yahweh is come to me, right? Son of man, behold, which means feature eyes, look, pay attention. They of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is from many days, it's for many days to come, and he prophesied of the times that are afar off. So, hey, but we're looking at things and they're not looking afar off anymore, right? You know, because when you're looking at these, these plagues and things that's happening, you know, this has to be the time of Yahweh's trouble, man. This has to be the time that it's going to be plagues and things that's not even written in the book, right? CB19 is not written in the book. And, these so-called gain of functions and all this other stuff. Hey, bro, yeah, this is that time. So with all that, just, keep your head up, keep praying. You know what I mean? Those that are in the truth, keep praying. Keep focused on your Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. For this is that time, man. So with all that, give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, the elder apostles in Connecticut, to the bishop, the priest, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To your sisters, you Akwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence and a Bible ball. Kwam Yasharallah.